All right, this is Pop's going to talk about Dumb Money. That's right. Oh, it's a poorly named movie. It's about the GME stock boom, if you will, the incredible short squeeze, the shockingly successful private trading Robinhood scandal, all of that took place with the Reddit page Wall Street Bets. It's all sort of kind of played out kind of in the middle or the end of like the pandemic from 2020 to 2021. Um, I really did enjoy a lot of elements to this film. But let me do start with the name. I know Dumb Money is like a joke that the freaking traders have for non, retail trailer for the retail trailers. I really wish it was called like Go to the Moon or something that was a little more because it's almost like off putting with Dumb Money. I don't know. Um, Keith Gill is this regular dude, financial analyst in Massachusetts. He had these YouTube channels doing under the name Roaring Kitty. He was talking about GameStop, GME stock. He said it was undervalued. He was just talking about it. He's talking it through with the Wall Street Bets people because on that subreddit, people would just be mean and cruel to you about your ideas and thoughts and whatever. And ultimately, this stock was so incredibly shorted that it mathematically gave you a good in, and then it just sort of exploded. And the movie does a pretty good job of talking about the hedge fund and some of that, but it kind of like also stays very high. It's very high level. A lot more is about Keith Gill's personal life and a lot of him going to this little local track to run and some of the family tensions and things like that. And I'm not trying to really even discount any of that. This is actually a pretty short film. It's only like a little over 100 minutes. So I don't like to say I want a longer film because I think 90 minutes to 2 hours, but that little 15 minutes uh I just didn't get enough of how bad Citadel, the hedge fund, was working with Robinhood and those kinds of things. I really wish there was a little bit more. It's like there's a scene where that goes behind closed doors and we don't see it. It just kind of happens off camera. So some of that kind of stuff. So Paul Dano plays the main character. Pete Davidson is his brother. Vincent D'Onofrio has sort of an undervalued performance. They basically didn't even really utilize him to his ability as one of the key players and all this. He's basically just a massive money feeder into this whole thing with Steve Cohen. Nick Offerman is the other money guy, Ken Griffin, which is tied to Citadel. America Ferrera and many other people play different investors, like regular people. So, like a lesbian couple. There's the America Ferrera is like a nurse. There's there's actually an employee from GameStop. So all that's also happening as well. So you see it through their eyes. And then you have the two Robinhood guys, which are kind of really not in it very much. Again, also not one of the high points of this movie. So it's sort of an underwhelming film. Like it's not bad. It just turned into sort of a ho hum. I wish it was so much more than it was, and it's just there's just not a lot of sort of meat on that bone. I mean, I just wish that wasn't the case, but it really is. There's just not a lot of meat on the bone, so to speak. So let's run through the trailer real quick. We'll talk about some other things that might prompt my memory here. This is a oh, so this is Shailene Woodley plays his spouse. This is a scene pretty far into the movie. How much do we make? Like 5 million. How much did we make yesterday? 5 million. So this is we did mention Seth Rogen. So this is the other side of the coin. How much did we lose today? It's like 1 billion. How much did we lose yesterday? 1 billion. Okay, so that's what you're getting. So Seth Rogen is more of the guy who's making the moves to decide what gets shorted. So he is the runner and manager of this hedge fund, and it's got like a family heritage to it. He just basically drives it into the ground. It's based on Gabe Plotkin, I think is how you say his name. Anyway, they basically go broke, out of business, whatever. No jail time, nothing like that. This is more of the track scenes. This is the GME person. This is at the very end of the movie when he's quitting his job or whatever. Yeah, this is him. This is Gil, and Podano's version of him was fine. And this is the kind of how it starts, like the stalker's the clown. I like the stock. I like me too. Yeah, yeah. And this is the people on TV kind of making fun of them, which all of this actually happened. Like, so for me personally, I remember this in January, not in the fall. So I would have been sort of late to the game to make some of this money, but did make a little bit, gotta be honest. The hold the line thing, which is spelled wrong on purpose, is also made fun of in the movie, which I felt like the movie and the name of the movie and some of the stuff, it actually didn't do a good enough job of saying, like, some of these retail people were right and the hedge funds are wrong. The hedge funds are evil, those kinds of things. So I wish it had been sort of handled a little bit differently. Instead, I felt like it just kind of doubled down on it, painting them as nerds, not knowing what they're doing, and mocking them for not selling. I think there's a couple of scenes where people are selling part and then, not all, which is probably would have been the best strategy for everyone. So this is the flashback sequences where everybody's talking about this. These are really good interpretations of the videos. He did a really good job pulling that out. This is them all. This is some of the regular people I was telling you about, how they're all finding it. This is that lesbian couple finding it. And there's Rogan. There's D'Onofrio. This is the shenanigans. This is starting to get crazier and crazier. Hedge fund worth $400 million, but of course they lose $1 billion. They become broke in no time at all. This is the other hedge fund guy. These are the nurses. The one nurse is talking about investing. The other, this other character, which is really an abrasive, irritating character. There is nothing except just grating on us every time we have to hear this person talk. So it does run through some elements that are very good and kind of at least showcases the thing. But I think it almost become like perpetuating the same thing. It perpetuates the system. Like it painted them in an evil light or a bad light, and the game was rigged. But I just wish it had gone further, or I wish it had articulated certain things differently so that we would have been able to really have a better reaction to it all, if you will. Because they really spent a lot of time with this, like, mocking the GME people and all that kind of stuff. And it's all the same kind of stuff that was used against them to kind of backstab them. They shut this is the guy so Sebastian Stan plays the guy running Robinhood who makes the decision basically to just stop buying. They grayed out the buy button. So it just gave the company time to sell off all their stuff so they could so it would reduce the profit margin. Basically, it screwed all these retailers. So, yeah, you know what I mean? I guess if it's one of those things where you wanted something where you could kind of relive that moment, or you have some sort of attachment to it or something like that. That's kind of why I watched it. I had an affinity to watch. I didn't want to pay to go see it in the theater, but I was like, well, I'll check it out when it lands. And I did. And it's just okay. I would say 2.5 stars. I'm probably being a little on the kind side, probably 2 stars. If you're not into it, it's a pretty bland drama. It's a lot of talky. At least with The Big Short, it was more fun and goofy and silly. And again, I'm not trying to get into the major weeds on facts on either one of these movies. I'm just kind of giving you my general scope of the film itself. I think that they did a good enough job for what they were trying to accomplish. So, but with that, that's my take on it. It's called Dumb Money. And take care, everybody. I am Pops.
Yeah. Right?